I just hit a major milestone with my dividend portfolio, and in this video, I'm going to be telling you exactly how I made it happen. Now, throughout your investing journey, there are typically 3 ways that you'll see increases to your total portfolio value. The first is the most common, especially starting out, and that's contributing new capital to your portfolio. When you're starting out with a small portfolio, obviously the easiest way to see it grow is to continue adding new capital. But as your portfolio grows, there's actually 2 other ways that your portfolio begins to grow faster than when you add capital. The first is when you simply see gains from your portfolio. And the math behind this is pretty simple. If you have a $1,000 portfolio and you see gains of around 10%, that adds around $100 to your portfolio, not bad. But if you have a $100,000 portfolio and you see gains of 10%, that adds $10,000 to your portfolio. So obviously you can see as your portfolio grows, the amount you see in returns can really increase dramatically. But the second way that you can see your dividend portfolio grow is by reinvesting dividends. And I saw a huge spike in my portfolio value this month due to reinvesting my dividend from SCHD. I received my largest dividend payment ever just a few days ago from SCHD, and it was over $700. And again, I reinvested that right back into my portfolio. So when you combine the fact that I've been reinvesting my dividends and the market has seen a really good past couple of months, that has contributed to my portfolio hitting a new all-time high. And I'll go ahead and zoom in, and you can see my portfolio value for the first time ever is sitting over $150,000 at $151,387. That's total gains of almost 20%. And in a dollar amount, I've seen gains of over $26,000. Now, just a few months ago, this really wasn't the case for my portfolio. If we jump back over and look at how the S&P 500 has done over the past 6 months, we can see in the month of October, there was a huge decline in the market. It sunk as low as around $410 per share, pretty low from the previous high this summer of around $457 per share. Now, like I mentioned in my October monthly newsletter, which by the way, you can sign up for free at my link in the description, but you can see my dividend portfolio had been sitting on a cash position of around 20% for the longest time. And this was intentional as I had been waiting on the market to provide more opportunities. And so when we saw the huge decline in the month of October, I knew that was the opportunity I had been waiting for. So I contributed the most capital in a single month to my dividend portfolio than I ever had before in the month of October. Now, after contributing all this new capital, it brought my cash position from around 20% to around 4.3%. So I contributed around $8,000 to my portfolio. And since then, the market has spiked up quite a bit and we've been seeing some phenomenal returns. If we jump over to my growth tab, you can see some pretty ridiculous gains from some of my favorite dividend stocks. We can see Broadcom, stock ticker AVGO. I'm now up almost 118% on this position. Caterpillar, I'm up around 59%. We have JP Morgan, I'm up around 54%. Over here, we can see Apple up around 43%. Microsoft, I'm up almost 39%. And there are plenty of other stocks from which I've seen really nice gains from over the past month. Now, as a result of contributing all this capital in the month of October, I'm still focusing on getting my cash position back to a healthier range of around 10 to 15%. And because of that, I've contributed very, very little capital over the past few months, which again goes back to what I was talking about at the beginning of the video. As your portfolio climbs, it becomes much easier to see gains through reinvesting dividends and also seeing gains in the stocks that you hold. My portfolio value has climbed more than $10,000 over the past couple of months, and almost none of that is from contributing new capital. Something else we have to take into consideration is even though I've contributed very little capital over the past 2 months, is my annual dividend income has continued to increase. Now, what's the reason behind this? Again, it's 2 reasons. Yes, I have reinvested dividends, which plays a major role, but we've also seen some phenomenal dividend increases from some stocks that I own in my portfolio. For example, I talked about this on my Twitter/X account just the other day. Broadcom just increased their dividend payments by around 14%. We can see Waste Management just hiked their dividend by 7.1%. And if we scroll down even further, we can see Realty Income just had a 0.2% increase, but over the past year, it's around a 3% increase. So when you focus on holding these quality dividend growth stocks, you can continue to see your yearly dividend income grow at a rapid rate without contributing any new capital whatsoever. And in my opinion, this is when dividend growth investing starts to get really, really fun. It's when you can sit back and do nothing and still see those annual dividend payments continue to increase every single year. And because of these dividend increases, we can actually see my portfolio dividend yield on cost has continued to increase. It's currently sitting at around 3.87%. And this puts my average monthly dividends at around $426 every single month. It's extremely encouraging to see this number grow, and you have to keep in mind, this means even when I don't add new capital to my portfolio, I'm reinvesting on average around $426 back into my portfolio every single month. So it's easy to see how the snowball effect is getting kicked into place, causing my portfolio value to continue to climb over time. Now, over the past few days, the market has really seen a nice bump up, and if you haven't seen the news why, it's because we have some phenomenal news coming from the Fed. They've chosen to hold rates steady moving forward, and they indicated that there could be 3 possible rate cuts coming in 2024. Now, this was very bullish news for the market. If we look at the S&P 500 over just the past 5 days, we can see the huge spike up right here. It's up around 2.5% in just the past 5 days alone. And I think the stocks that this is the best for are going to be real estate investment trusts. In fact, if we look at the VNQ, Vanguard Real Estate Index ETF, and look at the past 5 days, up over 7%. Rate cuts are really good news for real estate investment trusts. So if we look at stocks like Realty Income, stock ticker O, and look at the past 5 days, they're up around 7.33%. If we look at one of my favorite real estate investment trusts, Vici Properties, look at them the past 5 days, we can see they're up around 3.58%. So again, big winners from this news are going to be real estate investment trust, but really the market as a whole has really benefited. Now, I think with all this being said, there is a big takeaway, and for me, it is you want to keep an eye on your cash position and make sure you're ready to jump on opportunities when they come about. My cash position right now is still a little bit lower than I would like to see, but that's because I really contributed a lot of capital in the month of October. And again, that's because everywhere I looked, there were some really good opportunities in the market during the month of October. And if we jump back over to my free newsletter, again, you can sign up for it at the link in the description, but you can see the exact positions that I buy in my newsletter in the month of October. I bought SCHD, Lowe's, Texas Instruments, Visa, Waste Management, Johnson & Johnson, and Vici Properties. All of these stocks have performed remarkably well for me over the past couple of months and for the entirety that I've been holding them. But more importantly, they all fall in line with my long-term goal of one day being able to live off dividend income. If I'm able to buy them at a good value, I also believe they'll do a great job of increasing those dividend payments year over year, allowing me to one day live off dividend income. And it's also currently allowed me to hit a new all-time high with my portfolio value. So there you go. There is the big milestone I just hit with my personal dividend portfolio. Go ahead and let me know what you think in the comments down below. And like always, if you'd like to download this spreadsheet and join a community of dividend investors, then you can head over to my Patreon page at the link in the description. So with all of that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.